Hello everybody, it's Jeremy again. I am back with another video for the Life by the Square Inch video series here on the channel. And today I'm going to be doing my final video for the My 30-Day World Challenge that was put out by the Absolute Tabletop guys in conjunction with their Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin Kickstarter campaign. Now, the campaign is completely wrapped up and finished, and the 30-Day World Challenge is actually over with, but I fell behind, and I'm trying to get caught up. So today, I'm going to be covering the final 3 questions to finish this video series off. So today, I'm going to be discussing questions number 28, 29, and 30. So first up is day, or question number 28. What character would you play in your own world? First up is Rostfiend. Now, I'm fortunate enough to play a lot of different characters in Rostfiend, but I think if I had to choose just one, it would be Erasmus. Now, he was the first character that I ever played that I really came to invest deeply in, and he kind of became the representation for my own inner hero. He's a half-elf cleric who worships the goddess of fire. And it would kind of be a lot of fun, I think, to be able to play him again, especially if I could go back and actually play him with the original group that he was a part of. The second setting is Arath. I made a character that I was actually really excited to play in this setting, but that game never really panned out. I would love the chance to play, I think, a Hartusian, which is one of the mist gatherers on the Tambara side. They kind of travel the edges of the gray on behalf of their people. Or on the Hetus side, I think playing an elf from the Howling Grounds could really be a lot of fun. They have a lot of wind and thunder-based spells and things of that nature. The third setting is Acid Rain. I finally got the chance to play in this setting thanks to my buddy Baron. I've been playing kind of a salty old man whose name's Pops, who really knows how to handle a set of wheels better than anyone else. He's crotchety and he's kind of mean, but he kind of loves his boys in his own special way. So I've really been having a lot of fun with him. The fourth setting is Darland. I think for Darland, a dwarf from the Kingdom of Diamonds would be really fun to play. They have a type of gem mage called a Nuranid. They manipulate emeralds with their mind, kind of reshaping them into weapons and armor and other kinds of objects, but they're really warriors at heart. And they march into battle alongside these golems that they have created together called the Emerald Guardians. The fifth setting is Caldera. Now, I've been lucky enough to play in Caldera now as well, thanks to my friend Dave. And I played an uppity human wizard from back east that comes from money and has kind of a wealthy education at one of these arcane academies. But there's a lot of character types that I would really like to try out. You know, the tough gunslinger, Durathian brave, fast-talking card shark. Lots of options. The sixth setting is Chrome City. Chrome City is definitely a setting that I would really, really like the chance to play in. Maybe play a troubled detective treader would be really great, or maybe a fade pushing mancer, or a merchant, mechanist maybe, who was a mech pilot. The final setting is Momentum. Man, Momentum characters. Now, the rest of these were pretty easy to answer because I've run each of them several times now. And it's kind of afforded me the chance to play as a variety of different kinds of NPCs within these settings. But with Momentum, I haven't even had the chance to do that yet. So the lens is really kind of wide open with this one. But I think a Dwarven Paladin who has to journey into the Down Under for something or someone, yeah, I think that's probably what I'd want to play. So that does it for question number 28. We're going to roll right on along into question number 29. And question number 29 is, what is a legendary relic of power in your world? Now, this question is actually incredibly close to the one that I answered for day 18. What relics of the past shape the present? Which I can appreciate the nuances of the difference in the two questions, but I don't really feel like there's enough specific points for me to kind of bring up that make it feel like a different answer. So on to the next one. Question 30. Are the lands cartographed? Where are the boundaries? So first up is Rostveen. Yes, both in-game and out-of-game. Rostveen is an entire planet. So all of the land masses are accounted for and represented. Not all of them are inhabited, at least not to the knowledge of the world at large. So they're not mapped in-game necessarily, but the majority of the world is. So as to the second question, I suppose that really the only boundaries that are left to explore are probably these wild places that are not mapped yet. The second setting is Arath. And out of game, yes, I have a map for both sides of Arath. In game, however, no. And I don't think that exploration is really something that many people have embarked upon since the environment is so hostile. So cartography would be, at best, an incredibly rudimentary science. But the boundary, therefore, would probably be decidedly where the mists begin, though. Because it does ebb and flow a little bit, and it can be unpredictable within several miles. So the third setting is Acid Rain. Yes, to both in and out of game. I kind of imagine that finding a map of Haven Falls, which is the city that Cadian's Keep kind of used to be, would be incredibly easy, actually. Kiosks in the subway and bus stations, folded up paper ones in the gas station. Yeah, it wouldn't be difficult at all, but the boundaries would definitely be the islands themselves and the roadways that kind of connect them. As it is a prison, the inmates aren't allowed to leave the confines of the islands. The fourth setting is Darland. Now, the lands of Darland are mapped, both in-game and out. The lands are pretty well known to the people that actually live here, and it's a relatively small area compared to most of the other settings. The question about boundaries brings up a very interesting point about Darland. And when you wander out past the established ranges, the kingdoms that they kind of encompass them, you actually start finding massive, almost endless expanses of wastelands, desert, frozen icescapes, kind of endless mountain peaks and ranges. But if you're traveling enough and far enough, you eventually come across a set of twin statues facing one another. And these are the oracles, and they'll test you. And if you fail, you die. Nobody really knows what happens if you succeed. The fifth setting is Caldera. I do have a map out of game for the Caldera territory, and the places immediately surrounding it. In-game, though, I think it's currently probably being cartographed, though I'm not really sure that's actually a word. It is largely a frontier, though the settlements have been made on the western coast. There's still a lot of wild land kind of between the towns and the way stations out here. So the sea, I think, is probably the most notable boundary, as no one has really sailed much beyond the islands that are kind of just off the coast. And in the east, the boundaries are kind of undefined, as that's just the integrated realms. And I kind of purposefully have left it fluid and vague. So the sixth setting is Chrome City. Inversely, I do not have an out-of-game map for Chrome City, nor do I think I ever will. Now, in-game, there certainly would be one, and it's huge. It's a sprawling city. So, I mean, it's got 90 million people in it. But as far as the boundaries go, the moon of Cadian itself is a barren, desolate expanse of wasteland. It started off as a prison outpost on a worthless hunk of rock, but pockets of pure astra were actually discovered deep below the surface of the moon, which kind of catapulted it upwards into a society all its own. Now, people live on top of each other in Chrome City because outward expansion just isn't very viable. So even though this city has around 90 million people or so, and it's massive, the majority of the planet is completely uninhabited. Momentum is the final setting. Now, for momentum, the answer to the out of game is no, at least for the time being. I started drawing the first version of the map for me to use, but it's not finished yet. In-game, though, I think that the surface world will be mapped with a fair amount of accuracy. The Ascended Isles, the Gray Fields, the Seas of Essence, and the Edge Horizon. The Down Under, however, will be largely left a mystery, especially past a certain depth, I think. And as for where the boundaries lie, the Edge Horizon would have to be it. I mean, if you go out past that, you simply float off into the Sea of Stars and you never come back. So that is the answer for 28, 29, and 30. And that does it. This is the My 30-Day World Challenge. This is the final video. So I've done it. I have finished. Thank you very much for tuning in and giving this a watch. If you wouldn't mind, drop a like, maybe a subscription. There's a lot of other videos on the channel. Most of them are live plays of games that I've run. Some of them in the worlds that I've been talking about in these videos. So please feel free to hang around, check stuff out, and drop a comment. And yeah, I guess that's it, guys. So until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.